Well, I don't know where to begin. I'm sorry, but my leg hurts. So, okay. This episode's pretty much just kill the Rathlos and kill the Diablos. You know, the thing that the old first Wyvern was like, hey, you should kill these guys. And then I'll be like, hey, I'll tell you where that big old monster with the volcano is on its back. Such a great way to make your game. But I hate the Rathlos in general. I've always hated it because there's no... It's just the Rathian, except it flies a lot more, and it uses poison and fire attacks a lot more, which kind of pisses me off. But, I mean, that's all it really does. See, all it does is just fire, poison, all it ever does. So it's pretty much just the Rathian, but they make you fight it in every game because it's the mascot. It's like Pikachu, which I know there's Detective Pikachu coming out. What's your thoughts on that? That's a pretty weird idea, but hey, don't know. But yeah, he's pretty much the Pikachu of Monster Hunter. They make you fight him in every game because he was one of the first monsters in the first game. And he was like the main antagonist, even though he wasn't the final monster, like the final boss monster. It's like the one that you have to strive to fight. But then they're like, yeah, we're just gonna use him in every game. Just make you fight him every single time and really do nothing. The only thing that they change is maybe with his subspecies or deviants, which are just different forms of the Rathian or Rathlos. That's all they ever do with them. They just act the same. But anyways, yeah, I'm just using the lightning bow because it's pretty fun using bow, as you'll see here shortly, because it's fun to dodge. It reminds me a lot of Dodgeball, the movie. But I don't like the bow because out of all the ranged weapons, it relies solely on the stamina gauge. The bow gun and the heavy bow gun, all it requires is ammo. The bow, you really don't have ammo, you just have coatings, which the close range coating, now you get infinite, even though you used to only be able to have like 20. Which just increases damage. But hey, it works. I don't really mind the bow that much. Out of all the ranged weapons, I do think it's my favorite. Just because there's a lot more strategy into using it. But, I don't know. I just really hate the Rathlos. The Diablos is much better, in my opinion, even though he can also be really annoying. Anyways, here's some Rathlos getting pushed by a waterfall. Honestly, okay, I made this video, I put it all together, and then I was gonna use audio like I normally do, and then I was like, hey, it doesn't really seem to work, because my audio didn't really sync up with it, or it didn't really sound nice. Anyways, yeah, he just gets knocked away with some water. So he just goes sliding on down. But anyways, I have to redo all the audio for it, and it just keeps pouring water. You know, I really like it when they do stuff like that, where they add stuff, but then it's kind of just pointless. I don't know. But yeah, main thing with the bow and any ranged weapon, since you're a lot weaker with your attack strength, a key thing to do would either put the monster to sleep and set down 2 bombs and blow up the monster. Yes, I know, that is my favorite thing to do by far, other than cutting tails. I like just injuring it. But yeah, put it to sleep and put 2 bombs down and blow it up, and you're going to do a whole heck of a lot of damage. And it's especially helpful when you have a bow that can inflict sleep, mainly this bow, this Legani, whatever it is, the ice monster's bow. It has both poison and sleep. Poison's pretty good because, if you couldn't tell by any of the other videos I've done, half the weapons I use are all poison weapons, because poison's really overpowered at the beginning, because you don't have any elements. Anyway, here's a cutscene of the Diablos. I'm gonna be honest with you, I kinda hate Diablos. Mainly because all he ever does is dig underground and then it'll pop up. And it does a lot of damage, especially if you're using a ranged weapon. And that's kind of why I regret using the bow, because... okay, it's kind of weird because in previous Monster Hunter games, your armor, based off of if you were using swords and stuff, was tied into your elemental and your actual physical defense. But as you're gonna see here, since they changed it, my physical defense isn't as high as if I was using a blade, which this is one of the side effects of having a ranged weapon, especially against Diablos, because he can chain you into a combo like that. And it doesn't really help when his attacks kind of just work together. It can be a bit hard to tell. One of the more important moves to look out for is that shoulder check type move, where he'll stand up and he'll just like lunge sideways at you, because I know that's a move that's pretty hard to dodge, especially if you're using a blade weapon. But as you're also going to see, you can just destroy. Well, yeah, like I said, you can put them to sleep and then set down 2 barrel bombs and then just blow them up. And I don't know, I think you can break it any other way, but you can break his horns. Now, I can't remember if you can break both his horns, but like I was saying with the armor, how they changed it was, now when you pick a weapon, it either gives you an elemental boost, or a ranged weapon gives you an elemental boost, and a non-ranged weapon gives you a physical defense boost. Anyways, you guys like Final Fantasy? There's the Cactus Man for you. As you can see by the numbers, he does 100 damage for each time he hits him with a needle. So he's pretty good. And here you go, he runs. I don't know why they made him run, but it's funny. And that's kind of the reason why I hate trying to do this, because whenever I do make a Monster Hunter video, because remember, I don't have a lot of time to play Monster Hunter, so when I get the time to play Monster Hunter, they come out with like 50 different events going on. And I know the Fire Emblem thing, no, the Final Fantasy thing was like one of them. Because they had, one of the bosses, and if you defeat him or something, one of the monsters was a big monster or whatever, you beat him and you get like some Final Fantasy armor. But then it's funny because the Final Fantasy game, they have a tie-in with Monster Hunter, where they're like, hey, since they did that with our game, we're gonna put the Rathalos in the fucking Final Fantasy, which I hate. Because it's like, really? You couldn't put in anything else? So anyways, yep, I'm gonna just capture the monster, because Diablos can be a pain in the ass. Especially when you can't read his movements if you don't fight him as much. Which it's not really that hard. But one of the key things to get from him would be I think you can get a heart, which is like the rarest thing. Anyways, yeah. Here you go. The first Wyverian's all like, hey, now I'm going to tell you where the volcano dragon thing is. And he's going to the place where all life starts from or whatever. And if he dies there, hey, it just means you might as well nuke this place, because the whole world, the new world, it's all going to be on fire. So it's pretty stupid, honestly. But it's not as bad as some other games. There are some games where I don't really get it. One of them's, I guess most of it has to do with natural disaster type stuff. Because I remember 3 Ultimate was all about a earthquake. And 4 was some disease. And now this is, if he dies, he just burns the whole land. And then you guys see a cutscene that's all like, hey, now we're going to do the same thing we did earlier.
Everyone, please, quiet down. Thanks to the 5th Fleet's diligent efforts, we've learned a number of things. 1. That Zora Magdaros is heading for the Everstream. 2. That upon its death, it'll release the bioenergy it has stored. And 3. That the Everstream is connected to every corner of the new world. So, if Zora dies inside the Everstream, its bioenergy will blast us all to hell.
Commander, the Commission should make evacuation its first priority. I'll tell my sister to prepare her airship.
There's no time. We don't have any choice but to take down Zora Magdaros.
What? Blowing ourselves to oblivion is not what we're trying to do.
Correct. And the whole reason we're here is to study the beast's role in the ecosystem. Not erase it from the ecosystem altogether.
I think I might have an alternative. What if we tried to lure it away from the Everstream somehow?
Lure it away?
Yes, sir. I did a little digging, and the Everstream borders the ocean, right? So if we can lure Zora Magdaros out onto the open water...
We can mitigate the blast. And the bioenergy released would start a whole new ecosystem in the ocean. Life would go on.
Need I remind you, sir, that we're currently short on supplies from our attempt to capture it? And even if we had enough supplies, what kind of weapon could get that thing to change its course?
Don't worry. I have a plan. A very big plan.
Is that what I think it is?
Ho ho! Now we're talking!
Captain, you sure took your sweet time getting here. But we're happy you made it.
Happy to be here. I brought everything you'll need. Ballista, cannon rounds, and a literal boatload of supplies. Not to mention a little surprise. The guild supplied us with one hell of a ship. She's armed with the latest anti-Elder dragon weapon, a Dragonator.
Excellent. Just the weapon we need to drive Zora Magdaros out to sea. Hunters, it's time. Complete your preparations with speed, and make your way to the Everstream. I'll explain the details on site. We can do this. We must do this. May the Sapphire Star light our way. Now, get moving.
So yeah, we're just doing the same thing from the other
Time to see Zora Magdaros.
Zora Magdaros quest. So anyway, that does it. Bye!